Hey fellow mortals, welcome back to Golden RPG. Today we will guide you about Whirlwind Barbarian, the monster cleaner leveling build in Diablo 4. Let's bulk up. The Whirlwind Barbarian build is unique in Diablo 4. It will help you gather and rapidly kill a group of monsters. It will be hard to generate in the early game, but once that's solved, this build can clear anything in the game. Let's take a closer look at this build. For this barbarian setup, you must collect all items and legendary aspects below. This allows you to pilot this build at its peak efficiency. Let's look at the changes you need to make to implement them. Take cooldown reduction, total armor, maximum fury, and maximum life on the helmet. Try to level up Iron Warrior aspect to increase damage reduc. It also makes your Iron Skin skill unstoppable. Down to the armor, ranks of Challenging Shout is a must-have. Any kind of damage reduction is available, such as damage reduction or while fortified, and remember to boost your total armor. For the aspect, Numbing Wrath should be equipped to make each point of fury generated while your character at maximum fury grants. On the gloves, take as much damage as you can. Focus on crit chance, ranks of Whirlwind, strength, and lucky hit chance. Edgemaster aspect could increase your skill damage based on available primary resources when cast. This one is straightforward, just like the armor above. Get all kinds of damage reduction you can get, taking the Iron Blood aspect to increase your survivability, such as increased damage reduction. And then, for our boots, get movement speed and fury cost reduction, then focus on more defense. If you can get both of them, that's great, but don't try too hard. One stat with movement speed is enough to use. This Ghostwalker aspect increases movement speed and can move freely through enemies, so remember this one. For Bonebreaker, take damage per hit, vulnerable damage, overpower damage, critical strike damage, and some strength. Retribution aspect is a must-have on this weapon, which increases the chance to stun enemies. The upgrade on Demon Blade will be the same as Bonebreaker, while the Limitless Rage aspect will increase your core skill damage up to 60%. Then, for melee weapons, we have a lot of damage here. The same things on both of them. You will want crit strike damage, vulnerable damage, strength, and damage per hit. The must-have aspect of these weapons is Dire Whirlwind, which increases your crit strike. Then, the Berserk Ripping aspect will inflict 30% of the base damage. This barbarian build has the signature of classic style. Spin to win, so increasing your defense will strengthen your barbarian. Try to get resistance to all elements, cooldown reduction, and upgrade ranks of all defensive skills on the amulet. Disobedience aspect will increase your armor up to 45%. Then, we also have a lot of damage here for our ring. The same things on both of them. You will want critical strike damage, vulnerable damage, and critical strike chance. Aspect Shout helps you increase your defense when reducing cooldown from enemies. Bold Chieftain and Echoing Fury are two aspects you should apply to boost shout skills. Let's retake a look before we get to the next chapter. You can pause here to take notes before we get to the next part. The Whirlwind Barbarian builds on Whirlwind, Tactical Challenging Shout, and damage reduction. Spin to win. This standard endgame build is the best build for Barbarian that makes you destroy everything on your path. Whirlwind is the core of our build. Violent Whirlwind is our enhancement of choice since we are using the two-handed mace to help your spin more effectively. Challenging Shout boosts our defenses even higher with its massive damage reduction and health increase, while also taunting any monsters in range. Rallying Cry provides us multiple buffs, including Fury, Regeneration, Movement Speed, and the invaluable Unstoppable effect while active. Iron Skin is combined with Aspect of the Iron Warrior to boost our defenses and provide us another source of Unstoppable if needed. Enhanced Kick is valuable for extending the vulnerable effect, especially against bosses. It also stuns elites and standard adversaries with appropriate locations, allowing us to maximize our crowd control-related damage bonuses and multipliers. Warcry grants us the Berserking buff and a generous multiplicative damage boost while active. Last but not least, Key Passive's Unbridled Rage. This key passive providing damage increased but cost more fury. Whirlwind Barbarian gameplay is straightforward. Just hold down our spin button and everything around us dies. Approach enemies and use Challenging Shout, Warcry, and Rallying Cry. This is the preferred order since it allows Challenging Shout to come off cooldown first, thanks to Bold Chieftain's aspect. This is important because it is one of our best sources of damage reduction. Hold the Whirlwind button down and just spin. Iron Skin is there for emergency situations to break crowd control if Rallying Cry falls off, and for more damage reduction thanks to Aspect of the Iron Warrior. Use Kick to finish off enemies that outlast our Exploit Glyph's vulnerable window. With good aim, a solid kick against a wall or other obstacle will also stun, so we can deal massive damage. If we become overwhelmed, the best option is to retreat and wait for our shouts to come off cooldown before engaging again. Fight smarter, not harder. For the Whirlwind Barbarian, we will focus on 6 boards, which we will open up in the following order: Might, Exploit, Undaunted, Martial, Wrath, Territorial. The first one is Might. Adds increased damage while wielding two-handed weapons. On the starting board, we can stack up to 70 strength. For the next one, this glyph will increase your damage on vulnerable targets. The more dexterity you have, the more damage you deal. When requirements are met, you even get increased base damage overall. Undaunted glyphs increase your damage reduction. We will equally upgrade in strength, willpower, and dexterity to gain your damage reduction and increase your damage. This glyph offers lots of defense while increasing a slight damage. To be more specific, it will decrease the cooldown time of every other shout skill after casting a shout skill. This is a great source to boost your strength, which makes your champion more endure when going through the map. Furthermore, it builds up your crit strike damage to help you clear the map rapidly. The last glyph should be increased damage to close enemies, making your spin stronger, whereas it also reduces damage against close enemies. Let's retake a look at the Paragons board. This setup and Paragon board help ease the pain by giving us more sources of fury regeneration, so we can just keep spinning. That is all the glyphs you will need. Malignant Hearts are item enhancements that will add power to your gear in a way similar to that of gems, and with a potency similar to that of aspects. Caged Heart of the Barber is the best choice for Whirlwind Barbarian. This heart absorbs most of your attacks to deal with a big explosion to hurt surrounding enemies. Here are some best in slot Caged Hearts you should aim for. Caged Heart of the Barber. Critical strikes and all following damage are absorbed by the target within 2 to 4 seconds. The absorbed damage then explodes on nearby foes. Damage stored is raised by 10% every second. The next one is Caged Heart of Focused Rage. Your next non-basic skill's critical strike chance is increased up to 30% after spending 60 to 100 fury within 2 seconds. And the last, Caged Heart of Revenge, adds tons of damage reduction that's always useful, granting defensive buffs when you use defensive, subterfuge, and macabre skill. While not the best at doing it, the Whirlwind Barbarian is, in fact, Nightmare Dungeon Tier 100 viable. Here are some things to consider if attempting this push: Monster Life, Physical, Critical, Vulnerable, Crowd Control, Resist, and Melee Defenders, Armor Breakers, Drifting Shade, Death Pulse, Stormbane's Wrath, Volcanic. The Whirlwind Barbarian offers a comfy and enjoyable way to experience all the game offers. With a range of tricks and devices up your sleeve, you can have all you need to start a fresh season, even after the new path 1.1.3. But here are the pros and cons you need to consider before choosing this build. Let's take a look at this Clear on Nightmare Dungeon.
That's it for today's build. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos. See ya!